Graduated, elevated, now it's my time to shine, yeah, let's go. Major moves, power moves, take it to the top one time, non-stop.
Okay, I'm going to jump in. You went to Wits University, so I'm guessing that's where you got all of that from. Let's take somebody, I don't know the names. Where was I? I was at NWU University, right? Will they get the same kind of attention that you're getting at Wits University? I don't know. So I think it depends as well on your mentors and what the university is pushing, essentially. And also because you're a man, you could say that. That's why she went. Because as a woman, you'd be thinking, I've got like 6 months. I've got kids. I've got a husband. And then it's school holidays. I don't have that time. I'll cut it. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So, well, I think I went to a privileged institution.
Please say that again.
I went to a privileged institution, and the space mentored us to be proud that, my wife went to UCT, and at home there's always an argument which one is the best university.
I've never heard of UCT. Which one's that one?
University of Cape Town.
Oh yeah, I have. I met someone from there. Yes.
Yeah, so it's always a war in this house when it comes to those issues. Who is better and who is not and stuff. So Vets gave us some breaking rights that, but again, I guess the training that we got, and you have A-rated scholars mentoring you and teaching you how to write and giving talks. For instance, I talk about Third Metz. Professor Metz is now at the University of Pretoria. He would give you talks on how to publish, how to engage reviewers, right? Which I think maybe some universities don't go through that. Some students in universities don't go through that. How to pitch your job application, how to apply for this and that, how to, all these how-tos that are not really in the curriculum for the PhD, but you have to do them as extras because the university is trying to build you up and mentor you in a certain way. And those are quite important, and they should actually be used to realize certain challenges that the system has, and also advancing, especially the cause of women. And I spoke about how women were publishing less during COVID and men were publishing more because of obvious reasons. But did the universities have any mechanisms to sort of intervene? Definitely not. They couldn't do that. But if people are to be deliberate, are the salary scales of women and men the same? Those are some of the issues that need to be sort of engaged with, and there are certain incentives for publishing in some universities. And how do we encourage women to publish? How do we empower them to publish and do more research, right? There has to be deliberate efforts that, in terms of even policies, that seek to empower. And in some spaces, we look at issues of Black people compared to white people and stuff. Even in Africa, especially in South Africa, that exists, right? Those privileges, they affect even funding. They affect maybe even workloads. They affect many different things. I don't think there's a deliberate sort of effort in some instances, especially in Africa, to sort of overcome certain privileges, and that especially some of us as men get in order to create an equal playing field with and of course with disabled or other abled scholars also. How are they treated in the systems? We have gays and homosexuals within the systems, and how is even their research sort of looked at and treated and stuff like that. So I'm not a policy person, I'm not an admin or a manager, but I observe from from a distance, and I can only write about it and look at it and hope that others will do things or will have policy shifts. And to say, lastly, the book project I'm working on, I was writing about decolonizing the curriculum, university, and the human.
Mm-hmm.
So to speak about decolonizing in Africa, especially at universities, or universities in Africa are not even African universities. They are just universities in Africa, which are Eurocentric in the curriculum, in management, and even in the treatment of individuals within the system. When I talk to my Western-based friends that in African universities, if you're applying for funding, sometimes you need about 6-7 signatures from the hierarchy. They find it strange and funny because some of them only need one or even a phone call to get funding released, right? So those issues are quite important to be addressed. That sometimes you feel like if you're in Africa, you feel the system, the government, the university, or whatever is making it harder for you to succeed as a researcher instead of enabling you to succeed as a researcher. So there's a lot of things that need to be looked into, especially from the African sort of perspective, even funding of universities or funding of research by governments. The South African government is doing a brilliant job in terms of funding, but in other African countries, there's no funding that goes into research for universities.
Wow, that's a lot to take in, and thank you so much for going into people are going to come for me, aren't they? The different groups that you went into. I don't know what the right word is, because nowadays you have to be sensitive for mentioning people with disabilities, and also in terms of LGBTQ plus community. I think I got that right. And, and also in terms of women and women of color, Caucasians, etc. So thank you very much. That was very, very, very detailed. And also the red bricks, as they call them, or is it the red lines that you have to go through, the hoops that you have to jump through to get what you need. So thank you. So I guess the next question is, do you think, in your own opinion, poverty, right? We know what poverty is. That cousin of mine, I don't like it. But do you think, in your own opinion, that education breaks the poverty cycle for somebody who's been for their masters, or they've done their PhD, like you said, you're middle class? Do you think it's still the same as it was back in the day, or do you think it's all a myth now? You're poor.
I think it does. It does release you from poverty in many different ways. You get a qualification, you get a job, and you get a qualification, you can devise ways of making a living and also thinking outside the box. And definitely there are people who are not educated who are doing well, right? There are billionaires who dropped out of varsity, who never bothered to go to varsity, but we don't know if they were poor at home or what. But what I'm trying to say is that education helps to empower you in terms of your worldview, in terms of engaging with the world, and also upward mobility, as it were. So definitely for me is one of the main roots out of poverty.
I love that. And you're right in saying we don't know if they were poor at home when they dropped out. That's a good thing to reference. So I know that you're called Babes Wear Publication. Where did that come from? I think we all want to know, because is that a Wits thing to say, I'm that guy, I just graduated, I'm all of that, and then going to your wife, look at me, published 3 papers. Where did it come from? You're laughing.
So, well, My wife doesn't even know this, I think. I don't know if she knows. She's only on Facebook and she stalks people. She just looks at people and stuff. She's a low, what does she say?
Okay.
Yeah, she says she doesn't want to be, even she doesn't want me to post it. I can post it on my WhatsApp and stuff, but yeah, she just doesn't want. And this boy wanted to start a channel of reviewing toys and stuff. And was saying, Mommy, you will help me. And the mother was like, I don't want to be in those things. So she's a low, whatever. Yeah, so, you know, there's Tembega Ngaitobi, he's called Babes Homteto. He's a lawyer, so like,
okay.
And there's a whole range of other babes of this. So somebody at a conference said that to me, then I appropriated the name.
Then it was your thing.
Yeah, but I can't remember. It could be Linda. I can't remember who it was, you know, but I just appropriated it and then it just stayed there for forever.
Well, we love it. We love it. We love it. And I'm glad, and I think you'll be glad as well. This is the last question. Now, I want your 400% organic answer for this question. In your opinion, obviously you've agreed to come on PhD Hard Talk. In your opinion, do you think PhD Hard Talk as a platform is worth keeping, or do you think normal call it a day? And do you think it's beneficial for students and universities alike, or do you think actually it's just you and somebody just talking, so you know, it's not a thing?
You know, when I did my PhD, and I went to a great institution in terms of support, really. I wouldn't replace that.
I think you need endorsements from Wits University.
By the way, I was the face of the university on their website.
Really?
Yeah, so this guy found me and my friend at the library, and it's a university photographer. We didn't know. He was like, oh, you guys, can I take you a photo? Smile. So every time you go to the landing page for the students section of the website, it was our faces.
Oh wow. Oh, celebrity, humbled.
They never paid us for that. So I've noticed that in some spaces, PhD students don't get the support that they need, right? To an extent that sometimes it's better to Google certain platforms or certain programs that are likely going to help them. And definitely because now the universities are commodifying education and they are getting so many students to an extent that when I'm supervising 15, 14, 10 PhDs, I can't go through how to do a literature review 14 times with each and every one of them, right? So they have to go on YouTube and try to find these lectures. So what you are doing to a certain extent can help some students to sort of find their way through their PhD journey. And there's need for more platforms, by the way, and there's a lot of many issues to be discussed, ranging from mental health, what do you do when you get a burnout, and you know, what happens when your supervisor is difficult and you're in a space where if I move to this other supervisor, they will refuse because they don't want to be involved in office politics and office tensions. How do you handle issues that there's some things that if you're in a multiracial, multicultural space, racism, you might perceive something to be racist or racism, and you go to the institution, they tell you, there's nothing wrong, right? You're in a class with white colleagues, you have a white supervisor or lab, whatever, and that person doesn't respond to your emails. they respond to others, they don't want to be, or they don't agree, or they're not forthcoming in being your referee for certain things that you need, but they are forthcoming for others. How do you deal with those kinds of situations, right? They do happen, but how do you engage with those kinds of situations? You are the only woman in the lab owner, director, whatever it is a man, and then he's not assisting you in many different aspects that you need because something gotta give in order for him to have, so you have students who are going through certain things, different things, and then these platforms actually help us to sort of engage and devise strategies for them to survive, or even for them to move on to other spaces. Because at the end of the day, universities are run by human beings who are not perfect. We expect them to be, but are not, right? And in some spaces, there are rigorous mechanisms to prevent abuse, harassment, racism, homophobia, ableism, and all these kinds of things. Some universities don't have those kinds of mechanisms. So if you find yourself in that particular space, where do you go, right? So the platforms remain important for that. And discussions of research issues, also they're quite important. So definitely, I would say your platform is quite important. And by the way, my colleague and I wanted to start a platform for postgraduate studies, but he wrote a proposal. We're still planning what to focus on, but some of the things that I've highlighted are the things that we want to talk to academics at home. What do you do? Do you cook? Do you play with your kids? I was being called to play soccer. Then I was like, no, I have a meeting, but I'm supposed to play soccer outside. I was supposed to. So tomorrow I have to make time for that, right? Like the other life of academics, but also, touching on academic issues. Issues, as I said, around cooking, which I don't usually do much these days because we hired a helper, right?
Such is life, when you can't afford it, it's a thing.
But also, by the way, I was reading this guy's Father's Day messages for the cards they made in school for me for Father's Day. There was nothing about we love you because you pay our school fees and you buy us food and stuff. We love you because you play with us. You are fun, you make us laugh, right? And for me, the most important thing has been to provide for them and work hard and make sure that. But they're not seeing it from my perspective. Now I have to see it from their perspective, right? So that when they say, "Come, let's play," definitely I have to do that. And then when they go to sleep, then I can start my writing and other things.
Yeah. No, it is a lot to balance. I truly agree with you on that. And I would love to say thank you very much for your time, for your responses, and also for saying yes to being a guest on here. And I think I made a joke and I compared universities. I'm not saying NWU is this and that. It was just an example before I forget. And I would love to say, don't forget to subscribe to PhD Hard Talk on YouTube. And remember, hashtag Project Dissemination to the world and hashtag Sustainable Knowledge to the world. And if you do want to get in contact with, I will call you Prof. Babes Wear Publication because I can. To you, that's Assistant Professor Shepherd Mpofu. His details, they're all at the bottom. If he doesn't respond immediately, give him some breathing room. He's just explained that he's missed the football game today, so he'll be playing next week, all of next week. But no, this is pre-recorded. I'm just joking. But yeah, feel free to get in contact with them. Thank you again for your time and for your knowledge and your jokes.
Thank you. Did I tell any jokes? Thank you for Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I enjoyed my conversation with you, and all the best with your channel. And yeah, if there are any other PhD guys who are doing stuff, just get in touch. Just for me to say hi, I won't help you much, but say hi, keep going. And yeah, my daughter is actually one of the greatest cheerleaders on earth. So I guess I'll send you a video from me saying, hey, keep pushing, keep going. You can do this. You can do this. So yeah, thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it.